Today we have with us a very special guest, all of 96 years young. She has witnessed the transformation of India since British rule through the turbulence of 15 prime ministers of a free independent India. In 1920, even as Gandhiji had given the strident call for non-cooperation, a little girl was born in an orthodox Brahmin South Indian family in Tamil Nadu. She lost her mother when she was 2 and was brought up by her grandparents until her stepmother was old enough to look after her. It was then an India that did not believe in educating its girls. Child marriage was the norm. She entered school for the first time when she was 10. Even as Indian leaders were demanding Purna Swaraj in 1930, she little knew that education would become her ticket to freedom. Completing her matriculation at the age of 20, with the strong support of her husband, a research scholar who went on to work in the Ministry of Defence, she continued her studies and completed her graduation and post-graduation in English language and philosophy while bringing up 4 daughters of her own who went on to excel professionally. She went to London on a scholarship to study English phonetics and returned to India and worked as a lecturer and an educator. She has learned Carnatic music and loves to sing Urdu ghazals. She was even invited by the President of India to perform at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Even after retirement, she works for the community, tutors young children, and was elected the President of the Senior Citizens Welfare Association twice. How many 96-year-olds do you know who live to sing, who love to dance the tango, and who live every moment in simplicity and with a childlike curiosity? Let's meet Mrs. Padmavati Ranganathan. Mrs. Padma Ranganathan, welcome to Rubaru. What are your earliest childhood memories that impact your thinking even today?
My childhood memories start from the age of 6. Then I was living with my grandparents because I lost my mother when I was 2 years old. I was looked after by my grandparents and my aunt and my uncle, father's brother. Since I started going to school very late, till I was 10-year-old, I could go because it was not safe for a girl child to go alone on the road.
Sure.
Because of dogs, because of cows and also the transport of carts and all that, bullock carts. So I didn't go to any school which was 1 mile away from my house till I was 11-year-old. Then all the informal education was sitting on the lap of my grandfather and sitting in the swing along with my grandmother.
Wow.
Some music, some songs. From Form 2 to Form 4, for the 2, 3, 4, for 3 years, I was the only child in the classroom,
In a class of boys.
Only girl.
All right.
And then the girls were normally not allowed to sit close to the boys or in the same row. I was sitting in a separate chair.
So
In the right hand side of the teacher.
And how did that make you feel being segregated?
No, because there is no other way, because I was never been in the group. So being alone didn't make any difference at all.
Okay. You started education when you were 10, but then you went on with education. You educated yourself until you were 53.
Yes.
Was deprivation the reason for your love for education?
First of all, soon after marriage, when my husband asked me to join school again to continue my education from 9th standard, I was not willing. I practically cried. I thought the others will make fun of me because in those days, married girls were not allowed to go out easily and all that. But it was my father who also cooperated with me. And my husband was in Dehradun, and then I was in Madras, Chennai, now you call it. And one of the best schools, girls' school, Vidyodaya Girls' School. I joined the 4th form. And then I got the first proficiency prize also. Because I was, moreover, if you do well in education, you pay more attention, more interest. Then you like to learn more and more. interest comes because of the praise you get from the people
Sure.
and the prize you get. You feel like continuing that education. That's
Sure.
it.
In fact, it was your performance at a test given by the British Council that provided you with a scholarship to study English phonetics in London at Leeds University.
You know, they have got certain courses for teachers. As a matter of fact, British Council wanted to help India to take English, to take deep roots in India. So they opened British Council, and then in my case, I was a teacher trainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they asked me to join the course. They selected me. That's a great luck.
You were 40 at that time.
Yes,
Okay.
40, nearing 41 now.
Yeah.
Then in that 3 months course, it was held in Tara State, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And then the British Council experts used to come and teach phonetics, linguistics, and then how to make English audible properly, meaningful, and then pronunciation mainly,
Right.
and also structure of English.
Mhm.
And any person anyone who comes first,
Mm-hmm.
whatever may be, was sent to England on full scholarship.
I see.
That is why I managed to.
Right, but at that time, you had your youngest daughter was only about 5-6 years old. So, how did it feel to leave your daughter? Did you face any opposition to going to England
No,
to
no,
study?
I was not willing. It is my husband who forced me. He said it's a rare thing. You are selected, so you better say. And moreover, that course meant more on linguistics
Mhm.
and phonetics.
And how did the study of English phonetics help?
Study of that helped me a lot to
Mhm.
learn any other language.
How is that?
Yeah, that is why I could manage to speak Urdu consonants. I could recite Hindi Urdu poetry,
Mhm.
and also since I know Sanskrit also, Sanskrit and Urdu. You know, Sanskrit and Urdu both helped me to pick up English also properly.
Your daughter's memories of you is my mother was working. My mother was either studying or she was working, and in the summer vacations she stitched frocks for us. And what drives you to constant action?
Fortunately, teaching did not take much time, so I could learn Carnatic music to sing for Bharatanatyam dance for all my daughters. Then I could learn ballroom dancing also, entertain myself
Okay.
during the period of my teaching, during my teaching profession. Teaching any new thing is a diversion,
Hmm.
it's an entertainment.
Who has been the greatest influence in your life?
First of all, to the honest, my husband.
Yeah.
He is the one. And then I had a very good domestic help
Mhm.
who stayed with me for 52 years,
Wow.
who was a child widow and stayed with me, and she looked after my children when I was away. So that is why I could peacefully attend to my learning English in England.
As an educator,
Mm.
what do you think of India's education system?
India's education, it is very difficult to put in a very this thing. Education is like a toy in the hand of a children, and through education you can spoil the whole country. You know, the most important part in education is evaluation. If you are very lenient, you allow the mistakes. If you are strict, then there is a failure.
Yeah.
It's not the learning. This
Yeah.
only examination is the only aim,
True.
and
true.
getting marks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not the learning point,
Yeah.
because the teachers themselves are not very keen to develop interest in learning. They also want to finish the course.
Mhm.
So that is how the teachers and the evaluation and probably what you call the method of teaching
Mhm.
and the attitude of teaching
Yeah.
for teachers.
Uh,
Evaluation is a very important thing, probably
So, is it the evaluation system which needs to change?
like, very bad. very bad. It's not honest because they want prominence, they want the praise, they want what you call to come the first thing. So every school trying to this what you call train the students to get more marks, ask the teachers to work hard. So that is the thing. You
Yeah.
can evaluate after you have taught properly.
Yeah.
When teaching and evaluation
Mhm.
are so correlated,
Yes.
there's a positive correlation between the two.
Now, you have seen India from British times to
Mhm.
uh, the present government. So, how do you think the status of women has changed over 96
Mm.
years? Mm-hmm.
A girl child,
Mm-hmm.
from the time she is 6 year old,
Mm-hmm.
she is treated like a person who is going to adjust for the future as a full grown woman.
Mm-hmm.
So she is not allowed any freedom too much to go out and play.
Mm-hmm.
School also it was not possible because the place I lived in a place called Mannargudi in a small town in Tanjore district in South India. So the schools were run by men, teachers.
Mm-hmm.
The schools, the teachers were all male teachers. So a girl is not probably not allowed. People didn't like to send a girl to a school where there are no girls, there are no lady teachers.
Sure.
And Christian missionaries had girls' schools, but they don't want girl to be in a Christian institution. So those who are Brahmin girls, they had to complete the education. So the education, girl education had a problem because of three reasons. One thing, early marriage,
Yeah.
they could, and the secondly, girl's name will get spoiled, and then they should get married before she comes to age. My mother's aunt,
Mm-hmm.
she got married at the age of 8, got widowed at the age of 9. From the age of 14 to the onward, she was again like a slave and controlled and guided by elders. They didn't have the courage to introduce any change. Girls should wear in a particular sari, as I said, to cover the shoulders. Shoulders should not be exposed because it was allowed. The custom and tradition were maintained mostly because of the guidance and control of the senior people in the family.
Sure.
Widow can be at any age. Remarriage was not there. And then property right was not there. And education was not there. So she had to depend in the family. And if she's a Brahmin, she can't go and work anywhere. Prestige value. So she has to work as a servant in the what you call family, joint family system. But she was treated as ill woman. Ill woman means
Yeah.
if she is invited to any function,
Mm-hmm.
it is not proper. And then she is not allowed to have bindi, flowers, and not have two meals. And she should have only one meal and wear only white sari and have the head shaven. She was treated more like a prisoner.
Yeah.
So the woman, when she becomes a widow, that is why they prefer to die than to live like that. My mother-in-law
Mm-hmm.
in 1937,
Mm-hmm.
22nd March, when I got married,
Mm-hmm.
she could not attend how the marriage was celebrated. She could not sit for dinner or lunch, whatever it is there.
Sure. Yeah.
She was standing quietly alone in a room. If there is another widow, she will have company.
Sure.
Otherwise, she will be alone. Then with all the garland and all that, along with my husband, I
Mm-hmm.
went to do namaskaram to her. She was crying.
Yeah. And how do you contrast this situation with the status of women today? In
Today,
Yeah.
today's women are wolves. My men are afraid of them.
You were working in
Mm.
free India,
Mm.
but it was an India which went through a war with China,
Yes.
when soldiers didn't have uh, shoes or warm clothes to face the cold. And it was a time when India had imposed 11 slabs of tax ranging from 11% to 80%.
Mm.
So, when you were working, how did you participate in India's tax system?
Tax, when of course I didn't have to pay much tax because my salary was not
Mhm.
that big. School teachers were
Mhm.
paying. As a school teacher, I was getting 120 rupees
Mhm.
a month. As a college lecturer, I was getting 200 rupees. And then when I was in Jamia, I was getting 400. When I
Mhm.
retired, it was not even 2000.
Okay.
So in those days, I retired in 1980.
How did Indians respond at that time to India's tax system?
That I don't know.
High taxes.
That I have no idea. But
Mhm.
as an Indian thing,
Mhm.
I paid because I thought it's my duty.
Sure.
If I don't, I'll get a bad name.
Yeah. Sure.
I will get a letter, threatening letter.
Okay.
The crime is there.
Yeah.
What does crime reflect?
Yeah.
What does crime reflect? Weak government.
Mhm. Um, Mrs. Ranganathan, you live alone. You do not need reading glasses,
No.
and you have just come down from your house, climbed
Without pain.
climbed one flight of stairs. What is the secret of your health and confidence?
Contentment.
Hmm.
Contentment.
Yeah,
Contentment gives you peace of mind. Peace of mind gives you health.
sure. And you have also been involved with Carnatic music and Urdu poetry and Urdu ghazals, and
Urdu and also Thumri.
you have even performed at the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Yes.
Would you? Can you please sing for us?
Ayyo. Can I sing 2 words on Thumri? Thumri is
Yes, anything.
Ah, 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 अना कैसे कह दूं कि मुलाकात नहीं होती है रोज मिलते हैं, मगर बात नहीं होती है कैसे कह दूं कि मुलाकात नहीं होती है चुप के रोता हूँ तेरी याद में दुनिया भर से चुप के रोता हूँ तेरी याद में दुनिया भर से अब मेरी आँखों से बरसात नहीं होती है अब मेरी आँखों से बरसात नहीं होती है कैसे कह दूं कि जब वो मिलते हैं तो कहते हैं क्या कहते जब वो मिलते हैं तो कहते हैं कैसे हो सके कैसे हो सके कैसे हो सके इससे ज्यादा तो कोई बात नहीं होती है कैसे कह दूं कि मुलाकात नहीं होती है कैसे कह दूं
Beautiful. That was wonderful, ma'am. And it's been beautiful meeting you. And thank you so much for spending your time.